Welcome to the public AI for You Cafe today. The speakers are, we have actually two, it's a little bit surprise. The speakers are Isabella Strajinska, Senior Project Manager from Funding Box. Hello, Isabella.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
And Miguel Tiporado.
De Prado.
He is BonsAPP Community Association member. And I'm happy that you're here today. The theme is get up to 70,000 euro for developing AI solutions. All you need to know about the BonsAPP's open call for AI talents. My name is Carmen McWilliams, and I'm the moderator and organizer. I'm the director of the company Grassroots Arts and partner in the European AI for You project. Please take notice that the session will be recorded. No confidential information shall be shared in this cafe session. In this cafe, the speakers express their personal view and opinions. This is not necessarily the official AI You project opinion. So, great you're there. I see participants coming in the door of the cafe. Please write us questions. There's a chat. We have like a chat, a text window for the questions. As soon you have a question for Isabella or Miguel, just write it down and I'm going to read it to them. And now to the highlight of today, starting with Isabella. Isabella is a senior project manager at Funding Box in multiple Horizon 2020 initiatives in BonsAPP, World Galaxy, Pulsate, DIH, and before she was the project coordinator of Robert Union project from Funding Box again. And she was also partner in World Galaxy project. So this is great. I have not more information about Miguel, so I'm just let him later introduce himself, but we wouldn't wait so long. Let's go to the presentation. I make now Isabella the moderator. One moment. Okay.
Okay, that is perfect. Thank you, Carmen. Let me just make sure that I'm sharing my screen. Please say when you see my face on the presentation. Yes, you can see. You can see my presentation. Perfect. Hey, perfect. So thank you very much, Carmen, for inviting us to the AI for You web cafe. And for the opportunity to present the BonsAPP project and our founding opportunity that will be the main focus today. As mentioned, well, we'll briefly introduce you the project to those of you that might haven't heard about it, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the rules of the open call. So basically who we are looking for, who are those AI talents and what we expect them to do. We'll tell you a little bit about the benefits, so why actually you should apply, and then at the end the more technicalities, so the application form, what you should do before applying. And then after this 20 minutes, I will pass the voice to my colleague Miguel de Prado, that was already introduced, but who is the senior researcher in BonsAPP Association, and he will tell you a bit more about the key element of the project, which is BonsAPP Marketplace. And of course, at the end, as Carmen mentioned, we'll invite you to ask the questions. So let's start about BonsAPP in the nutshell. So the BonsAPP project was created in line with the EC AI strategy for building an ecosystem of excellence to support the development of AI. And that will be connected with the AI for You project that is already running since 2 years, and as you know, is going to create the platform that is the main project behind. And last year, the small family of the new projects that will support also the AI for You with this EC mission which we call ICT 49 projects, were launched, and BonsAPP is one of them. Okay, so we call us sibling project because we are all gathered around AI for You. That is why we're also invited to this web cafe, and BonsAPP is one of these initiatives. Our consortium, we're 7 partners, sorry, with different geographic scope, but what's the most important with the different competences. So we have some universities, Renew universities, the one from Switzerland, HESO, who is coordinating, also the coordinating of the project, but we also have the University of Bologna and BTH from Sweden. So these are the universities. We have HESO, BCA, and FISO are the technical coordinators of the project. So they actually also lead the development of the BonsAPP marketplace platform. And BTH is responsible for security, and University of Bologna and ST will also work with other functions that are implemented to the platform. So these are more technical related partners. And then we have Funding Box that I represent. We're leading the open call management. So this is why we are here today, and also connection with digital innovation hubs and of the ecosystem. And then the last one is ISDI, who is the digital business school from Spain, and they will be responsible for massive online courses that will be available for beneficiaries, and also they are the dissemination lead in our project. So nice consortium, nice mission, and hopefully, and fingers crossed, we can bring our ideas and vision together. And that is the next thing that I wanted to tell you about, why the project was created and why we are doing that. The problem that we saw that should be solved is the AI supply and AI on demand, how we call it. The AI supply is related to the SMEs. Okay, I wanted to start from AI on demand. Sorry. Is related to the SMEs, okay, so the end users or the adopters, because there is a lot of knowledge about AI, but there is also a lot of SMEs, especially those manufacturing or in the low-tech sectors, how we call them, that are still lost in this AI adoption, so they are not sure how the AI could help their processes, or they do not have access to that. So that is one, like from the AI on demand side. And then AI on supply is the network of the developers. So Europe is well known. There's a lot of knowledge and a lot of experts that work in AI sector. Now it's also a hot topic, so we know that there's a lot of happening in, but then what is missing is connecting all this network with the industry, so with these real use cases at the end. So that is our vision, what we would like to improve for this project and for the BonsAPP marketplace. And our mission is, in one word, just to start from the simple explanation, is to create the AI as a service for the Deep Age platform. Okay, so this is in one word. And how will this help to this previous slide, right, to this vision? Because through this marketplace, there will be a modular services that those low-tech SMEs that has no big experience in AI will be able to use to implement in easy way AI in their processes. So our main vision to help SMEs to digitalize by allowing them to access and implement the AI in easy and affordable way through the BonsAPP market platform will be completed. Okay, so this is in the more detail. And then how we'll do it in the execution way, right? How it will work. So the ultimate goal is to set up and demonstrate this fully functional AI as a service layer, okay, which is BonsAPP marketplace, that will become in the future the layer of the AI for You platform. Okay, so this is much more far away, but first we'll start from the BonsAPP marketplace. And how we'll do that, and why we organize the open call? Well, because this AI as a service layer, we will found during the project 20 use cases, okay? And These use cases funded for the project in the 4 main sectors, which are healthcare, automotive, manufacturing, and robotics, will allow the end users, which are SMEs, as I mentioned, but also industry leaders. Okay, here I will show you the use case cycle. So SMEs and corporates, which are the end users, and they provide us the challenges of their operations and how the AI could improve. They could connect with the AI talents. Okay, so these are the researchers, the specialists. So we can close this gap between AI demand and AI supply problem through the use cases that will be funded on the platform, that will be funded during the project. And the ultimate goal of this innovation cycle and use cases that will be supported will be the AI applications and solutions that will be created thanks to these use cases execution after the support program provided. And those will be reusable for the industry and for the future through the BonsAPP marketplace. Okay, so I know many elements here coming, but it looks complex, but we're doing everything little by little, of course. So that is why we start with AI talents first. So this open call is dedicated to these researchers that will help us first with the supply. And the corporates were the ones that helped us to identify the challenges at the beginning. Next year, this will be SMEs that will ask for that. So that is for our cycle. And as I mentioned, so the 20 use cases, we'll found them through the open calls. So this is the process that we are now is like the selection to be able to do all what I told you in the previous slides. So we are going backwards. And today we will tell you about the first open call for AI talents that will help us with the AI supply problem. And it is the funding to develop and integrate the AI solutions, okay, responding to the industrial challenges. And I will tell you a bit more about this open call in the next slides. But just to not forget the full context of our project, we have also the second open call that will launch next year, but that one will concentrate on demand. So we will be looking for low-tech SMEs that would like to adopt the AI in their processes, and we'll provide them also the set of solutions and services to develop the AI solutions that will be also at the end integrated to the BonsAPP marketplace. Okay, so also here, let's start with the AI talents first, and just to add another element, but not mix up too much. Also, we will provide the services, okay, to those AI talents and SMEs through validated suppliers. So actually, just to mention that for the first open call, if you know or in your ecosystem there are any HPC cloud providers that would like to become a part of our project, we have a small, it's not the open call, it's more like online validation form where they can just sign up, become validated, and then we can involve them also in the support program with the AI talents and SMEs. So I will not get deeper into that, but just mention that we are also looking for HPC cloud providers. But to the point about AI talents, because I guess maybe some of you have already too much information, so let's add a bit more to that, or maybe clarify or get to the details. So who are actually those AI talents? Okay, I already mentioned that these researchers, PhD engineers, yes, this is still very general, but it will help you to understand what we expect, okay? Because we are looking for the experts that are able to train and deploy AI models in the most simple way to say. But of course, in the next slide, you will see what we plan or what we expect those AI talents to do exactly. And you will see that you will need the skills in AI development, but also in data science, okay, to be able to execute that task. Okay, so the ideal skills should be some knowledge of the data science, some knowledge of training the AI models, And ideally, if you have some additional knowledge on the business or project management level, then it's always a plus, to know how to execute. So the key of this open call and main evaluation will be based on the skills of the talents. Okay. From the legal point of view, because this is also important, what is your status, okay, to be eligible, how we call it in the open call, dictionary, I would say. So the open call, it's quite broad. Okay, you can apply as the natural person. So if you are an expert and you would like to apply and you have all the skills, you can apply alone if you will be able to execute everything as one person. But you can also apply as a team of maximum 5 people. Okay, so you have one data scientist, one AI developer, someone taking care of project management. It could also work, okay, but the maximum is 5. And what is important here that each team member, or if you apply alone, you have to be a citizen or resident in the European countries or associated or UK. Okay, so well, there is a full list, but basically European, associated, and UK. In case of team, you might ask, like, how do you manage that? So there's always, you have to nominate a leader that will be the main contact point, that will sign also the agreement and redistribute the grant, okay, if you get selected. So we already got this question, so I answered that up front. But you can also apply if you are a startup, okay, or the company. We have also, you can apply as the enterprise, sorry. And there are 3 options, so you can apply. These are that are related to the status of or how big you are. So we might know that SMEs, you are the SME if your company has maximum 250 employees, or the turnover should not exceed, annual turnover should not exceed 50 million euro per year. In case of mid-cap, the top limit is 3,000 employees, okay, and no turnover limit. And then research, you can also apply as the research and technology organization. And that was done because also we are looking for the researchers and specialists that sometimes due to the contract you have with RTO or you're doing some research, you would like to apply. So you can apply as the whole institution if you have a research team inside of the institution. So, but also here important, the European that the institution, SME or midcap, has to be registered again in European or associated. So that is only formality, I would say, that I wanted to mention. And then all the rest is included in the guide for applicants in section 3.1. So if you have doubt, please go there and read in the details. Now just to the point, what we will expect from those selected AI talents. Well, the goal is to develop the AI solution that will solve one of the industrial challenges. We have identified 10 of them in robotics, manufacturing, automotive, and health. So you have, in your application, you have to select one, and well, when you will be writing, we'll ask you, for instance, for the ambition. So why you decided to select that one? Is it because you have previous experience or you knowledge about it? So you will have to also justify why you select that and what is your idea. And also what counts a lot is like if you know actually the industry, okay, that is also an added point. If you have any plan or how to commercial or how to like bring it to the market or to the end users at the end. So this will be, this is important for the industrial. And each challenge is described in many details, okay, regarding AI assets, requirements, objectives in Annex 2 of Guide for Applicants. So once you select, we invite you to go to Guide for Applicants and read the challenge in the details. How? So we have this, you see this picture on the right that is repeating. So with the skills and with this identify industry challenges, the BonsAPP will provide you the resources available from BonsAI's marketplace, and with these resources you'll have to solve the, well, create the AI solution, okay, and implement it to the platform. Here I'm not getting deeper because Miguel, who is the senior researcher, will tell you more about the platform, but it is important to remember about about this aspect. in the execution of the project. And then what are the benefits? So the funding, of course, it's up to 70,000 euro. Okay, the 30 selected AI talents will enter to the 5-month support program that will start from January, and you will receive 70,000 that is paid in according to your performance. So it's not that you get 70,000 upfront. It's divided in the milestones, and it's paid according to the achieved goals that are, of course, agreed before you start the program. And here there's also important point that from the 70,000 you have to dedicate 10,000 to contract the high computing services, okay, that you will need to train the models. So you have to count that at the end it will be 60,000 that you will receive and 10,000 for the services that will be also validated by a consortium. Then, of course, the support from the consortium partners on how to use the BonsAI's marketplace and resources to develop the solution. You also become a part of this ecosystem of the platform, so that is why we call it Certified AI Talent User. And at the end, there is also those, the top 10 AI talents will receive the business mentoring for the AI solutions and to bring them to the market. Here is the program in short. So as you can see, well, innovator and the challenge was already predefined, okay, by the industrial leaders. So we focus on the pink brackets. So in the stage 1, that will last two months. The main goal is to, well, the data scientist will work close with the developer on preparing the data and training the model. And after 2 months, there will be a hackathon organized by University of Bologna. And that is when the consortium, or well, the selection committee, will make the decision to select, or well, we'll call it to make a cut from those 30 AI talents to 10 that with the biggest potential and that reach the best development of or the highest in the development of the solution. And those in the stage 2 will work already towards integrating that to the platform, and also will receive additionally the business support. Okay, so this is in general. Here, getting into more details, but what I just wanted to say here is about the payments. So as I mentioned, it's 70,000 that is divided per stage 1 and per stage 2. Okay, and here I just wanted to show you that the 30 AI talents in first stage will receive 28,000 for achieving all stage. Then we'll make a cut and 10 will continue, and those that will finish the program will in total receive 70,000. Okay, so this is important to understand. And for HPC cloud providers, you should dedicate at least 2,000 per month. This is the average cost of this service that should be contracted so you can train the model, AI model. And yeah, that's about the support program. And let me just briefly tell you, if you are still interested, on how is the process and what is important to take into account. This is the timeline. So as you know, there is a direct link that I believe it was also shared even in the event or webinar description, where everything is placed. So basically, this is where you should apply. And also that this is where all the documents are. So the application is open by 2nd November, okay, no longer. So we're very strict with the deadline. So please make sure you apply before. Don't leave it for the last moment. And then we'll have 2 months for the evaluation. Okay, I'll tell you a bit more, but you know, this is the European project. So we really make sure that everything is fair, that the evaluators are independent, and that all the process sometimes might takes 2 months until the moment of announcing the results. And also that is when we will sign the sub-grant agreement with the selected AI talents. And the support program starts, we plan to January, I guess it will be maybe middle of January, that will start and will last 5 months. So this is the general timeline. And now about the open call. So as I mentioned, you should enter to the link that is provided here. And first step that you have to do is to sign up to Funding Box. Okay, you have to open the account and then you will be able to apply. So you just click Apply Now button, and then you can see the application form First, it will be draft, but you have to remember to, once you fill it, to submit your application, okay? I'm saying because sometimes it happens that people leave it in draft and forget to click submit, and then it's a pity. And yes, and what is another important thing is to read the guide for applicants. So this is like a Bible for this open call. So it is very important to read it carefully and make sure that you fulfill all requirements and that actually you have a full understanding of the open call. And here is the print screen from the website where except of apply now button. The read first is this this compendium of the documents that you should read and get help. You have all the additional materials on how to reach us, but also webinars, events, and everything related. And here is the print screen from the Get Help, just to tell you. So I'm repeating, the guide for applicants is a must read. Then if you want, you can also see the application form without registering to Funding Box. So this is just a PDF for your review. So you can see that the application form is very simple. So you can just, see the PDF and you can work offline, but please remember that we only accept applications submitted through online form. Okay, so this is only to make it easier for you to review. Then if you still, after checking these two documents, you still have questions, then please go to frequently asked questions. Okay, we are trying to update it with all the questions we receive, and also there is some complementary information in more details. And then we also will publish the subgrant agreement draft for your reference. Okay, so you also know what is this legal document that we sign when you get accepted. How to get help? We have the open call help desk, which is the public space where you can just write your questions and our team will reply. Or if you're shy or there is something confidential, you can write to us to our help desk email, or just check the frequently asked question documents. So maybe your question is already there. We also have the webinar. So this is our first one. Once again, thank you to AI4EU for organizing. And the second webinar will take place on 8th of October, and that is the webinar that will be focused very much on BonsAPP's marketplace. Today we will make a short introduction. Miguel is with us, but that one will include more information for all of you. And then the last one, 1 week before the open call ends, we'll try to make it more individual, I would say, depending on the questions or main doubts that we will receive. So last Q&A and tips before applying. And the selection process, just to close quickly, so as I mentioned, it takes 2 months, okay, to ask the process to select the best ones. Why? Well, first of all, it has 4 steps. The first, the eligibility one, is quite simple and automatic. So our system will just check if you fulfill the eligibility according to the country or the institution, so natural, SME, or mid-cap, based on what you include in the application form. So here usually almost everyone passed. Those of you, if you read correctly the guide for applicants, then it should be okay. And then the longest phase is the experts evaluation, because we engage here the independent experts. So this is not consortium. We go outside, we ask AI experts to join us, and they evaluate and they help us to select the proposals with the highest potential and with the best fit to the project. Each proposal is assigned to experts, okay, that work independently, and then we take the average, and those proposals that pass the threshold, which is the score is between 0 to 5, okay, per each criterion, and the threshold to pass to the next stage is minimum 3 points. Okay, so this is all included in guide for applicants. But what I wanted to pay your attention to when filling out the application form, that what is scored and reviewed by external experts is excellence, impact, and implementation. Okay, so these 3 sections are the most important ones. The rest are more the formalities. So please make sure that in these 3 sections you convince the experts that you are the one to be selected. And then based on this ranking, the consensus meeting will be held. This is already only the consortium partners. We invite also 3 external experts, but on this meeting, we take the experts evaluation ranking, and a selection committee has to check if those proposals are actually aligned with the project scope or if there are any ethical issues. So this is like the last review and the decision that is made by selection committee. That will select 30 AI talents that will be invited to legal check. And that is already more formal check, because we will check your SME status, we'll ask you for some documents that confirming that you're not a bankrupt, more formalities, okay, to check before we sign the sub-grant agreement with you. Okay, so that legal check sometimes requires more time because we need some documents and legal department to be involved, but we try to make it as simple and smooth as possible so you can sign the agreement and start working with us. And that was it about the process. And so I just repeat, please do not forget to apply by 2nd November through this link. And in case of any doubts, you have the contact email. And just as the last slide, I just wanted to mention that, of course, we are, as I mentioned, ICT 49 family projects are organizing other open calls. So together we support each other. Many of these open calls are managed by Funding Box, so you will face very similar application forms. And so if you already sign up to the Funding Box, you will have access to all these projects that are in the in the orange square. Okay, and BonsAPP is open now. We have another one that is Escape that is related to health, and there will be iEnergy related to AI in energy applications launched next month. And Starway will launch in December. So there are different opportunities. You can find many of them on Funding Box. There are also other like AI Copernicus or AI Plan for EU that you can also check. Okay, so if you do not fit to our call, then we invite you to have a look on the next one, on the other ones. And from my side, that's everything. Now I pass the voice to Miguel de Prado, who will tell you a bit more about the bonsai marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miguel. You want to you want to show? You have the slides, no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I leave you.
But I need to share them though.
Yes, you need to make the Miguel moderator.
Even though I see BonsAPP AI marketplace. Is this good? Is this?
No, that's Isabella's actually. I need to share mine.
Okay, I'm now giving to you. That's my question. I make you now the moderator. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
So now you should be able to, yes, we see your AI marketplace, and yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much. So this is Miguel de Prado. I'm a senior researcher at BCA. I've been working on the bonsai project previously to these BonsAPPs, which is the continuation. And the idea is to create a marketplace to commercialize and make use of all the tools that we've been creating for artificial intelligence. So in this session, I would like to quickly introduce or give an overview of the marketplace. That is in the end the final platform where we will integrate all the different content that will happen in the open calls. So just to give an overview about the deep learning. So deep learning has been advancing a lot in the previous years, even surpassing human capabilities for speech recognition and computer vision tasks. So we see key emerging applications such as automotive, healthcare, finance, telecommunications, security, and robotics, that with adoption of deep learning, they can bring a new technological revolution. However, up to now, deep learning was deployed through the cloud. That means that we need to push all the data from these applications to the cloud to be able to get some responses. So cloud computing is usually energy expensive. It takes a lot of time to push and get back the data. That's not good for critical applications. And also we have always issues about the security or the privacy of our data that is in the cloud. So what we propose instead is to do edge computing. So edge computing means that we're going to process data directly on the device. And this is much more energy efficient, real-time, and secure. However, this is complex. In this project, what we want to do is to do the transition from a cloud-centric to a deep edge-centric model. And you can see here that organizations like Google, Facebook, and Baidu, they're on the top of the table. And we want to get down to the network devices and down to the sensors. While we go down, we are reducing the power consumption and the latency, but however, the complexity increases. This is because the deep learning algorithms are much more complex because they need a lot of computation and memory to run on small devices. So what we propose in BonsApps is to deliver these tools to make the models more efficient and allow them to run in these small devices. So now I'm going to introduce a bit, that was the concept of deep learning. This is these new algorithms that learn from data. So now I want to give the overview of the BonsAPP marketplace. So this slide was previously shown by Isabella. So just to give a few more comments. So the idea is that by collaborating different institutions, for example, researchers or corporates like SME or startups, we are going to be able to create end-to-end solutions that we would not be able to do them otherwise. Why? Because it's complex to create an AI solution, because we need knowledge from many different fields, for example, data, also algorithms, the expertise to train those algorithms, and deployment tools. So that means that we also need to know the hardware where these algorithms are deployed. So by collaborating all these entities, we are able to create AI solutions for use cases. We have healthcare, automotive, manufacturing, and robotics. And this is going to happen through the marketplace in a distributed manner. So here we have the different personas and entities. Sorry, I'm going to push to this. Here's the role of different actors in the AI value chain. So here we can see the different steps that we want to cover during these deep learning solutions. So first of all, we have an innovator. So innovator is a person, for example, who comes from a company and would like to create a new solution that contains AI in it. It could be, for example, I need to detect people on the street to see if they are coming or not. It could be like a camera surveillance, things like this. So the innovator is going to come to us and create an AI challenge. An AI challenge is like a text where it's defined the needs of this challenge and the specifications. So you need to write all the KPIs that this specific solution needs to have. So this is pushed to the BonsAPP marketplace. There could be some data scientists that are going to take up this AI challenge because I think it's nice to solve, and they're going to train some models to try to solve it. So at the end of the process, they're going to have an AI asset. An AI asset is what we call a containerized environment, where we have training and deployment capabilities. The idea of this AI asset is to have something that is packaged and can be reproduced easily by other people as well. So that once we've been doing this AI asset and the metrics are met, then this can be sent to the developer. So the developer is going to take over to take this AI asset and optimize it so that we can run it on small devices. So here we're going to generate code for small devices and have some tools for optimization. And finally, we'll have like a sort of a binary which we can deploy on an embedded platform. We can stop here, but we could also go a bit forward to the integrator. The integrator is going to look at different applications that are available in the market. And it's going to create a more complex system by combining these AI applications. In this case, we could have like options like in-cabin monitoring systems for like automotive, that they're going to detect the person if it is looking to the road, if it is distracted, if it's smoking. So here, several applications intervene at the same time to detect this solution. So if we go back now to this slide, here is the task that needs to be done for these different personas. So here, as we said, the innovator is going to define the training data where it needs to be trained. It could be open public or it could be private, and that needs to be defined. Also the specifications of the final API and also the target platform. And this is going to be pushed to the marketplace. Then we have the data scientist that's going to create the model, is going to train it and get some metrics, evaluate it, and when it thinks it's done, then it push to the developer, which creates the application and also evaluation. It's very important to evaluate the model across or throughout the chain to avoid that we propagate problems that, for example, the data scientists didn't evaluate it properly, and then we come to the integrator and we find out that it's actually performing wrong. So it's very important to have these separate stages and evaluate it at each of them. And also we see that the integrator may not even come from an innovator. An integrator could just come to the marketplace and say, okay, I'm going to just buy a platform, choose my applications, and create this solution. So it means that we can collaborate at different points, and it doesn't mean that we go from the beginning to the end. We can start in the middle and just finish with it. So here we have another use case, is that there is no innovator. Innovator means that someone is going to push the challenge. Here, what we would like to do is to reuse all those papers and experiments that are done by the academia. In academia, they do a lot of research, but most of the time, these papers and algorithms, they are put into a box and then no one sees them. So what we would like to do here is to reuse this by having two different stages. One stage is the experimentation, where we do the research, or some other people do it. And the second stage is the industrialization, where we're going to try to encapsulate all this research into an AI asset, and then following an AI app. And this AI asset is going to contain data collection, model training, optimization, and benchmarking. And what we see generally is that this is not just one go process. So we need to go back to the beginning, because we see that while doing the benchmarking, our metrics were not correct or not enough. So the idea is that we iterate over this process as many times as we need, so that we come up with the right solution at the end. Usually this process is a bit burdened. It means that we have issues to connect the different stages. So one of the keys of the AI asset is that we establish a container that covers all the dependencies, so we can smoothly run from the beginning to the end without any issue. And this is the actual content of the marketplace. So we have challenges around 10 to 15. We also have AI research. So we have a lot of papers that we have collected from different web links, for example, GitHub or the research marketplaces. And here we can navigate through different researchers and then see the different tasks and actually evaluate, not evaluate, but see the evaluation that those papers were putting. And we can compare different researchers' papers and see which one is the most valuable or the state of the art. And all this can be done through the marketplace. Then we also have platforms where we could also deploy the AI assets that we were talking about. We have like ARM, Intel, NVIDIA, and Renaissance. And we also have AI applications, which is the final product of the AI asset. And here we have things for detection, classification, recognition, and authentication. And finally, AI solutions. This is going to be released at some points. At the moment, we are going to release at the end of this month, probably tomorrow, the AI research and challenges in a beta version. So slowly we will push in the content once we are ready, because we need to build still the infrastructure to be able to push all this data to the BonsAPP marketplace. But these things that we already have is just a matter of time that we push them and people can go and check them out. And then finally, we would like to show also that we are not the only one, of course, in this domain. There are other entities like Kaggle or TensorFlow, NVIDIA, Akumus, that also provide similar capabilities. Here, we would like to maybe distinguish ourselves from them. And BonsAPP is a bet by the European Union to create knowledge and tools that stay within the European Union. All the other, or many of the other companies or marketplaces are American. And we see nowadays that there's a strategy, a key strategy to create our own content and keep it in Europe. Also, the other point is that we are mostly agnostic to platforms and tools. That means that we have sort of a backbone where we can plug different tools and platforms, so we can evaluate different solutions on different platforms, which that broadens a lot the scope of the project and enrich also the capabilities of the innovators, because we can try out different things. For example, if you were to use NVIDIA, you buy the platform, and then you will be constrained to also use their tools. So you're a bit more constrained in terms of the solutions you could use at the end. Our idea is just to open everything that we have, since from the BonsAPP and BonsAPP is just an entity that doesn't try to make money out of it. So we would like to create a community where all we can collaborate and create AI solutions. That's a bit the scope. And with this, it's all for today. We have, as Isabella said, another call in 1 week where we will explain a bit more in detail the topic of the BonsAPP marketplace.
Yes, thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Isabella. And this was super great insight into the open call coming up and also into the bonsai marketplace. And I'm with the first question, and then I'm switching to the participants. Miguel, this bonsai marketplace platform you just described, is it basically ready? And how long did bonsai run? Is this a project which started 5 years ago, or so? How long is the duration of the project bonsai platform marketplace? And secondly, is it available now?
Yes, so before the BonsAPP project is currently undergoing, we had bonsais that was started in 2017, so it's about 4 years now, or almost 5. And so that was the beginning where we started creating those tools. And many of these tools are available already. The point is that they are not in a state that can be shared. So now the idea of these BonsAPPs is to create documentation, tests, and environments so that we can start sharing these tools. And that takes some time. So at the moment, the bonsai marketplace is that place where we will push all the content. And as of today, we have the AI research and the AI challenges in a beta version. So probably next week, we have a hackathon, internal hackathon, or try a hands-on, where we will show to our partners all the details. And maybe in the next call that will be public on Friday 6th, we can already show maybe some of these capabilities that are already present.
And who is the coordinator of bonsai?
It is Nuria Passos. It's a professor from EUR, which is a university from Switzerland.
Okay, from Switzerland, no?
Yes.
Switzerland. Okay, thank you. Now comes the questions from the participants. Sorry for letting you wait. So this, I think, is a question for Isabella. So the SMEs, as the AI talents, can they apply to the first call? I think Laura Rocci asked this question. I think they got a little bit confused. For the first call, AI talents is clear, but can also SMEs apply?
Yes. Yes, the AI talent is more like the profile, okay, and the SME or mid-cap or natural person is more the legal status of it, right? So if you are SME startup, because usually, for instance, startups are SMEs, no? Because they do not have more than 250 employees and their turnover is not more than 50 million euro per year, right? So yes, you are SME and you are eligible to the first open call. In the second open call, the role or the profile will be different. So you can still apply as the SME, but in the second open call, we'll be looking for those that will define the challenges. So how Miguel told them, innovation, right? So they will define challenges. So the legal status will be the same, but the idea of the open call is totally different. Okay, so I hope that clarifies. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, to make it clear, it can be a natural person, a talent, but also up to 5 people a team, as well as SME can be, no? for the person.
Exactly, it can be SME that is established company, and yeah, let's say you have company already established and you have 3 people that they have the skills, so they can apply as the company as well. So they can get the grant as the company, as the legal entity, right? Not as the natural person, like individuals, right? So that's only the legal status question, yeah, but it's quite broad.
Okay.
Next
question is from Loris Roveda. Is it possible to submit multiple applications from one institution?
Yes, it is possible to apply to different AI challenges. So yeah, the multiple submissions are possible to different AI challenges. Okay, so this is one point. But you have to remember that after external evaluators ranking, only one can be founded. Okay, so those that will be this, if you apply for 8 AI challenges, let's say, this is okay, you can apply, you can submit, but then during the process, you can be founded only with one. So the one with the highest score will be the one that you will receive the grant. No, you will be founded.
Yeah, but I think it's also if like there's 10 different researchers in one university.
Okay.
10 different, can they each apply?
Yes, so if I understand the point. So yeah, one entity can apply. So if there's one research center, like, I don't know, Danish Technological University, and there are different researchers, and they apply to different challenges, but still it's the same entity that will receive the grant. Okay, so here you have to watch out, because even though the team below will be different, but the entity cannot receive too many grants, right? Because we have to divide them. The idea of the cascade funding is to divide them among many entities. So all those people can apply as natural person, for instance, not as a research center, or they will have to probably decide, you know.
Okay, good. Next question. Georgios Flamis. Hi all, thank you for the inputs. My question is regarding the final deliverable. Is it enough to deliver a trained, tested model in HPC, or is there a requirement to be executable in specific edge hardware, for example, FPGA or other?
I think I would take that. So the idea is that the output of the open call is going to be an AI asset, and this AI asset is going to contain, it's a Docker container that needs to have training into it, and also deployment on an embedded device. We are targeting embedded devices. If usually the first stage that we target is devices like Raspberry Pi or NVIDIA Jetson Nano. So it should be deployed on those devices. We are not targeting high performance computing.
Okay, I hope that's clear. And Azadeh, sorry when I say the name wrong, Haradianyazadi. If we participate in siblings project, is it possible to participate in this call too?
Yes, that will be for me then, more the legal part. Yes, you can participate in others, but remember that the maximum funding amount is it was 200,000 euro. Okay, so here it's 70,000. So if in the other one you don't get more, then it shouldn't be. If together, you know, it does not exceed this, it shouldn't be a problem. And what you should watch out, because this is the funding limit in EC, but what is important is the double funding rule that each project reviews. So basically, you cannot fund the same actions, okay? So you can have different projects money, okay? But you have to be sure that the spendings are dedicated to what you will execute in BonsAPPs. And the money that you will receive from another project will be to execute actions that you that you decided to do there, right? So do not fund twice the same actions. That is the double funding rule. That is also important to remember about. But in general, the answer is yes, with some small reminders.
Good. I think, and also Laura, who's had the question before, she said thank you, it's crystal clear, and also Azadeh says thank you for answering the question. I think you have done a great job, not we, you. And thank you. I think we are now here coming to the end. As always, 4 o'clock is the end of the show, and we are really on time as always. And my last one, just generally to open the floor again for more. It's my question. How can we get, in general, more young people, more talents in Europe involved in these open calls? I mean, if any idea how we can involve them to test and deploy more AI, how we get more brains in? So just open the floor. Maybe you have an idea.
Well, I would say maybe Miguel can say from the technical perspective, because he has the technical background. Mine is more ecosystem related, right? That we have the conclusion is a bit what I said about AI supply, that we have so many experts, but somehow the difficulty is like to direct us to the correct directions and users and the applications of the technology that is developed, and also collaborate. So this is difficulty, and I believe the collaboration in such a project is a nice way to actually get connected between the dots, right? So if the SMEs, the researchers, and also the project partners that have already ecosystem, we're trying to do the best to connect also among the projects. So like with AI for You and BonsAPP. So yeah, there's a big sea around it, and I guess we are trying all hard to connect the dots. I'm not sure what if Miguel has any other thoughts.
Yeah, well, I think it's something that needs to be started earlier when you are younger from the schools, and try to push people to come up to these, environments and try to figure out things to create new ideas and develop new solutions. But of course, I mean, now it's a bit, we need to focus on the present. And what I would say is like, it's a very vibrating environment. We would be a key for the next 10 years. So it's full of opportunities if people sign up and try to develop things, because this will only grow more and more and more. So it would be one of the biggest influences in technology in the next decade. We'll be organizing hackathons during the project, so it's nice for people to try and go to those hackathons, just maybe to see what's going on, try out the different tools and see if they like it or not, and then give us the feedback, and so we can create this community that I think will provide a very nice inputs and will be beneficial for everyone.
Thank you. This is I think great efforts you do, great things you do, and so compliments to you all, and good luck, and afternoon everybody out there.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Keep also the cafe always a little bit. This cafe is a nice instrument also to connect the dots, so keep using it, and see you all. No? See you next week, and bye-bye. No?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.